let's jump right into it with the Military Bowl presented by GoBowling.com between Virginia Tech and Tulane. Virginia Tech 6-6, 10.5-point favorite here, over under 44.5 against Tulane. Before we get started, GoBowling.com is, you have to go to this website. It's the worst website I've ever been to in my life. It looks like it was made by a fourth grader. It's probably a military contractor who like charged $1 billion. I don't even know what the point of the website is. It is, you got to just go to it. Like, to find a bowling alley near you. As our producer said, this is like using the internet to solve a problem that existed in like the 1960s. There's like a bowling drills embedded YouTube video. This website, just go to it and you'll laugh. But the big news here, the reason why 6-6 Virginia Tech is an 11.5-point favorite over Tulane is Tulane has number one, their coach Willie Fritz took the head coaching job at Houston. He's taken almost his entire staff, but apparently they will still coach in the bowl game. Here's who's out: starting quarterback Michael Pratt, starting wide receiver Chris Brazell, he would a hell of a freshman year, starting safety DJ Douglas, starting edge Devin Deal, starting edge Keith Cooper, starting tight end Alex Bowman, starting offensive lineman Prince Pine, starting wide receiver Jaquan Jackson. Their other starting receiver Keys is hurt. Starting defensive lineman Darius Hodges, starting cornerback Jarius Monroe. Their backup quarterback Kai Horton is out apparently too, even though he's been practicing. Defensive back Kentrell Webb, safety Keelan Harrison. I mean, it is a mess. Apparently Justin Ibieta is going to start at quarterback. The thing is that with Pratt out and all these receivers out, Tulane, you think it's going to come out here and try to run the ball. You can't, but they can't run the ball. And that's how you have to attack Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech had an outstanding pass defense, and it looks like most of their team is going to play. So from a motivational player availability standpoint and now matchup perspective, everything favors Virginia Tech. I think Tulane might be on Syracuse watch. I think it's an expensive number now, but I could not get behind back in Tulane. What do you see here in the Military Bowl, which will be played in Annapolis, Maryland? So I guess keep an eye on maybe some winds and weather, but December 27th, 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. What do you see here?
Very expensive a very expensive number as to what it was. If this was played during the season, it should have been 3.5. But with Michael Pratt and the rest of this roster out, I mean, you talk about wide receiver Chris Brazell, tight end Alex Bauman. I mean, they're missing
12 starters out.
So much. I mean, you can't. We'd take the whole podcast to go through it. So, I don't even know if the number is justified, because I think the number is justified for Pratt being out. But what about all these other weapons? Now, Kai Horton, being in the portal but might play in this game tells me you just haven't found it. No one's given you a dollar amount to commit to another school. And Justin Ibieta does have some experience here.
Yeah, he played some last year.
Yeah, 4 years he's been in the system, 38 passing attempts, 2 big-time throws, 2 turnover-worthy plays. Nothing really you can base anything on. But with Keys and Jackson out, the top 4 targets are gone in this game. You're right. I don't know how anyone can make a case that Tulane is not on, we're not going to say corpse watch anymore. We're going to say Syracuse watch. When you flip to the other side, Virginia Tech's 57% rush, but overall, just poor numbers on the season from a success rate standpoint. What I find interesting about Virginia Tech's rushing numbers is Bashal Tootin is 4.7 yards per carry. He averages 3.6 after contact, and that just shows you how bad the offensive line has been in creating holes for him. I mean, it's only 1 yard that they've made. They're 83rd in stuff rate. The strength of the offense really has been pass explosives. Kyron Jones, 15-3 TD to INT. The ADOT is really the most interesting. He averaged about 8.8 on the season, but if you look at the last 2 games, 10.6 and 13.8 average depth of target against NC State and Virginia. So they have become more explosive here.
Yeah, their offense, by the way, Jones didn't start all year. Definitely got better once he took over as a full-time starter, and his legs and his mobility definitely opened up the offense and then can mask some of those issues along the offensive line.
And Tulane's defense was 98th in defending pass explosives, but Virginia Tech is way more explosive in standard downs. And that's because when they pass in standard downs with drones, they go wild here. So I agree. I don't see any reason that this isn't Syracuse watch here. I've never been a fan of telling people to lay a big number when it's 7 points off what I would make it during the season, but Virginia Tech is the only way you can play her. Or maybe you set up yourself for a parlay for the rest of the day. You have a couple different options here.
Yep, agree. It's about Tech or nothing.